Chapter 30. The Siege of Iwamura Castle. "Look!" a young samurai exclaimed as he pointed down into the valley. "They are choosing the same site for their headquarters as Lord Akiyama did." It is a good place. From the top of the ramparts of the castle we were watching the huge Oda army taking possession of the valley, and I was thinking that from here they looked like an army of ants. "Is Oda Nobunaga himself there, I wonder?" I asked. "I think his son Nobtada is in command. I recognize his banner." The young samurai was still peering down at the little hillock about an hour's flight from the castle gate where their headquarters was being established. "Were you at Nagashino?" I asked, suddenly recognizing the young man as a comrade of Yoshitoki. I knew that Watakansuke had died in that battle, and I had prayed for the repose of his soul with more fervor than I had ever prayed to Buddha before. But the fate of Yoshitoki I had yet to learn. It was not a battle, we were slaughtered. For a moment the young warrior closed his eyes, as if he wanted to imagine the battle again. Again and again we attacked, until there was no one left. They had guns, several hundred of them, and a pike barricade from behind which they could shoot us at their leisure. It was like a whole army committing seppuku. The horses that were not killed by the bullets got so frightened that one could hardly handle them. Mine shook as if it had been beaten. "You were with Yoshitoki?" I asked, fearing what I was going to hear. "He was killed in the very first attack. I saw him fall from his horse." The young samurai turned his gaze away from me and down toward the valley. "He was your friend?" I asked. He asked. I nodded, for I could not speak. I felt tears forming in my eyes. I looked away and managed to ask my companion, "Why did you keep attacking? Would it not have been better to retreat?" Each time, Lord Katsuyori ordered us to attack again. It was as if he could no longer give any other order. He watched us as we galloped past, his father's war fan in hand. "Dowakotono," I smiled bitterly. Somehow I had hoped that by some miracle Yoshitoki might still be alive. Now I saw him falling from his horse to the dust below. It was not only Lord Katsuyori, but the rest of us too who had gone mad. We wanted to charge exactly that impregnable place in their lines. The young samurai smiled as if the memory of that bloody day was somehow pleasant for him. We had found the gate to the road to the west, the gate to death, and we were as eager to pass through it as if the gate were of a palace and we were guests invited to a feast. "How many died?" I asked. From a plain below, I heard the sound of a soldier blowing a conch shell, trumpeting some message or another. "Most of the lords, all of the generals of Lord Takeda Shingen. No more than you can count on the fingers of one hand remain. As for the ordinary bushi, for every 5 who entered the battle, I doubt if one is still alive." The young samurai stood up, stretched himself, and left me. I stayed for a while, thinking of Yoshitoki and Watakansuke, promising myself that I would have the services said for them in the temple of Erenji if I left Iwamura alive. Although the Oda army was so large there was 20 warriors for every one of ours, they were in no hurry to attack. It was now proven how wise Lord Akiyama had been in keeping the best archers in the castle. A few days before the arrival of our enemies, he had bushes and trees cut down within an arrow's flight of the walls of the castle so that there was no cover from which they could shoot at us. The Oda army had guns, but they were not very accurate at a great distance, and with our best bowmen placed at intervals along the wall, none of the Oda soldiers seemed eager to venture into the open land. Since I was in charge of the storehouse, I had many meetings with Lord Akiyama and his staff of older high-ranking samurai. We had water in plenty and food for the first 6 months at least. When Lord Akiyama had cleared the land around the castle, he had also sent away most of the women and children, and those so elderly that they would be of no use. Strangely enough, I think that the younger samurai especially suffered most from boredom. Iwamura Castle comprises an entire mountain, but once you are locked within its walls it does not seem so large. In secret, a group planned a foray. About 50 young samurai assembled early one morning near the lower gate, mounted on the best of our horses. When the gate was open, they charged out and with wild shouts galloped through the enemy camp. But the Oda forces were prepared. The general allowed them to break through his lines, but when they wished to return, a host of Oda soldiers followed them. By the time Lord Akiyama had been warned of what happened, he ordered the gate to be closed, and we watched 50 young soldiers being slaughtered. Later, their heads were exhibited on pikes near the Oda headquarters for us to contemplate as our own likely fate. After a meeting with the staff, that I had been asked to attend in order to inform them of the remaining supplies, Lord Akiyama asked me to stay. He invited me to sit down and ordered tea to be brought. Tinian changed his mind and ordered sake instead. Taro, he said as he lifted his cup, may you be as lucky with Oda Nobunaga as you were years ago with Takeda Shingen. May I never need to be, I rejoined. If... Lord Akiyama shook his head, as if he did not want to believe what he was going to say. If Katsuri managed to build up yet another Takeda army and attacked Oda Nobtada in the valley of Iwamura, he might possibly win, but he would have to come swiftly and secretly before Nobutada's father brings the rest of the army. How many soldiers does Nobutada have? I asked. 15,000, maybe a few more, but if we attacked at the same time as Katsuri, there would be some hope. In any case, I would like to know what Katsuri's plans are. Lord Akiyama took the little pitcher that had been placed near him and filled our cups again. I want to send a messenger to Kofuchu while he is still strong enough to be of some value. It should be a samurai of high rank, I suggested, someone Lord Katsuri would trust. The older men that are with me are all friends of Katsuri's father. They look upon him as a child, and as I call you Taro, they may forget themselves and call him by his boyhood name, Shiro. No, that will not do. I have heard that Katsuri only keeps counsel with samurai his own age. Besides, I need someone who has the cunning of a ninja and will be able to escape from Iwamura Castle and pass through the Oda army without being caught. Lord Akiyama paused, and I blushed, because only now did I understand what he was suggesting. Do you think you can do it? I can try, I answered, and frowned. I shall do my best. If they catch you, they will crucify you. That is what Oda Nobunaga usually does with ninjas. Lord Akiyama was toying with his little sake cup. I am not afraid of dying. As I spoke those words, I meant them, for the young do not fear death.